Are you ready? Are you ready? I said, people, are you ready for the show? Are you ready for some live streaming comedy tonight? Are you feeling alright, fresh and funky? I'm about ready to drop down the truth right now. Wait a minute, mama, are you ready for me to drop some truth bombs on you? I hope you're really ready for this mind-bending comedy I've got planned for you and me right here, right now. Don't anybody get confused. This ain't no auto-tune. This is actually called singing in tune. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da. This is what you call singing in tune. You don't have to use auto-tune when you can sing a melody like me. Who's feeling fresh and funky? Who's ready to have a real good time? Smash that thumbs up button right now. I'm about to blow your motherfunking mind. Well, that was fun. That was fun. And there's more where that came from. All right. Who is ready to have some fun? I'm ready to have some fun. I waited a few weeks. I have not streamed live from this channel purposely for a few weeks. I was gathering up materials. I actually have a list of things to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about. So it's going to be a fun stream. You're going to want to sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready, get your smoke ready. In fact, I got some smoke right here. This one's called Clementine. And it is a very, very strong indoor sativa. So strong, I'm only going to take one hit. Because if I take more than one hit, it has the potential to make me too stony baloney to run my own stream properly. Just to show you, this stuff is no joke. Look at this. Look at that. You can imagine. Yeah, this is some high-grade, top-shelf indoor. Look at that. High-grade, top-shelf indoor. One hit of this shit will start to turn me into a loon, if you know what I mean. So I can only do one hit. The problem with these super strong sativas is that they wing me up. They wing me up, man. I have not toked this top shelf product in a while. So when I hit some top shelf the other day, I was like, wow, that is so strong. I should probably just take one teeny toke and call it good. So if you got it, light it up, load it up. We're going to light it up. I want to see 60 thumbs up to get us started today. 60 thumbs up. I already see 43, so that's pretty good. So 60 thumbs up. We're going to get started. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a fun stream planned for you today. And you guys know when I get streaming, anything can happen. You never know what I might say next. You never know what's gonna happen on the asshole stream. All right. And away we go. Yo, VIP, let's kick it. I actually went back to my hometown to get this smoke. I know a place where I can get a really good deal, and I haven't had any top shelf in a while, and so I wanted to treat myself to some of the absolute finest top shelf sativa, the absolute finest indoor I could find. And it's expensive. It's expensive, but literally one hit of this and you're like, whoa. And you take 2 hits of this, you're like, uh-oh, I probably should have just did 1 hit. Like, that's how potent this stuff is, even for an everyday stoner like myself. if I was to take a few more puffs of this, I wouldn't even be able to run my stream properly. Okay, so let's dive in, shall we? So the title of our stream is called Everything is Ruined. That's kind of the theme for today's stream. Everything we now know, at least everything I know, pretty much ruined. And there was a time not too long ago where everything seemed fine. Literally, I was thinking back in my head and I was like, okay, 2015 was the year that I woke up. It was 2014, 15 when I started looking into conspiracies online. And so it really hasn't been that long. It's been about 7, 8 years of me being awake, quote unquote, awake to conspiracies. So if I just go back a decade in my own life, I can go back to being completely asleep, thinking that men walked on the moon, thinking that space movies are believable, thinking that everything that the mainstream media says is pretty much true. And I look back at that life, and it really wasn't that long ago. Only 10 years ago, and I was just a complete sheeple. I've only been awake for like 7, 8 years, which really isn't that long when you look at the grand scheme of your life. How long have you been awake? How many years have you truly been awake? And so I look back, and it wasn't that long ago that I used to enjoy watching movies about space. I used to enjoy listening to music, regular mainstream popular music. I used to enjoy watching television shows and movies and sports. I used to enjoy pretty much everything. And now pretty much everything is ruined because I'm too damn smart and awoke to even watch or listen to any of this horse crap that they present us with. And so I want to talk about how music has changed, movies have changed, television has changed, and it's changed to the point where now I feel like I can't go or do anything without getting depressed or pissed off somehow. I got a donation that just came in. Says, Mass One says, "Drenched or not, I still rock with you and always will. Love you, bro." Yeah, Mass One, you brought in somebody who said that that Denver mass pow 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 was all real. And the person that you brought in that you claimed was your friend went through and cussed out many of my subscribers in the comments section of my video that says we live in an actor-based reality. So that event that happened in Denver, where this individual supposedly went around pew, 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 capping folks, and I'm using terms to not get myself in trouble here. I don't believe any of that happened for a second, and I believe that that news interview was full of nothing but crisis actors. And so, since that news interview was full of actors, and you had a friend come over and say that it was all real and cuss out a lot of my subscribers, you lost your wrench, sir. Yes, Mass One, you had a friend come over and vouch for a fake event with a bunch of actors, and your friend who you vouched for cussed out many of my subscribers, including me. In the same fashion that people told me Flat Earth Fokker isn't didn't fake his death. He's really dead. You're a bad guy, Jake, for suggesting Flat Earth Fokker or Rab Skiba faked their death. So here's the deal, Mass One. Since you vouched for somebody who swore that that Denver bullshit was real, you lost your wrench. So it's cool that you're still going to rock with me or whatever, but I don't want there to be any confusion. If I think somebody's slightly not legit in any sort of way, I might just take your wrench. And you're not the only one who lost your wrench. There's another person who lost her wrench, Foamfoot 420. It's because I'm not sure if she's the girl that she pretends to be in the photo. And so I've talked to Faith. I've talked to Mama Lula. Those are real females. I've talked to them on the phone. I can vouch that those are real females in the chat that are mods. And I've talked to them. I've seen videos of them. I can vouch that those people are real. I'm tired of aligning myself with people who seem like friends who then want to backstab me or do some shady, shilly shit. And so there's certain people who I've cut out of my life or who I've removed because I get a weird feeling. If I get a weird feeling from you, or if you do anything that just seems shady, I reserve the right to remove you from my life or remove your wrench, block you from my channel. Now, every once in a while, I'm going to get this wrong. And I have in the past, I'm sure, blocked people, banished people, what have you, who maybe had true intentions, who just came off weird that day. It's up to you to not act shady and shilly. The best chance for you to never get banned is to not show up and do and say weird shit. So if you don't participate and you just watch, you'll probably never get banned. But if you participate and you make a nuisance of yourself in the chat and you refer to yourself and get people to notice you, and then you do and say weird shit over the course of mine and your friendship here on YouTube, well, then I reserve the right to remove your wrench, remove you from my chat, what have you. It's because there's a lot of people whose sole job it is to waste my time, whose sole job it is to discredit me, whose sole job it is to lie about me. And this has happened over and over and over and over and over again. And I've fallen for it way too many times. So there's been people who've tricked me into thinking that they're cool, only for them to turn around and backstab me when I least expect it. For instance, right now, I think I'm pretty much done with Thomas Scott News. He decided to backstab me out of nowhere for no reason over on the crypto channel that I helped him start. So I'm no longer going to allow him to do a crypto channel with me or my name or my likeness. And so it looks like that friendship is over. And I didn't expect this. Out of nowhere, one day Thomas decided to wake up and shit talk me in a very malicious way and basically on a platform I helped him start, he thought it was perfectly acceptable to badmouth me. And I don't need friends to stab me in the back anymore. In 2022, I'm absolutely done with anyone who wants to stab me in the back. So I'm going to be preemptively looking for anyone who might try this shit. So basically, you had a guy, Mass One, who's like, hey, here's some money. I don't care if you took my wrench or not. Well, bro, you brought over somebody who swore that that Denver fake crap from last week, that fake pew 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 event, you brought someone over who swore that was real. The same exact way there was this one lady who swore Flat Earth Fokker is dead. Mac Parhar, Flat Earth Fokker, swore he was dead and went to every one of my subscribers and cussed them out. It was the exact same manner. And so I don't allow this sort of crap on my channel. If I call out someone for being a shill, it's pretty much because they are. If I call out something for being fake, it's because it is. I shoot from the hip once in a while, and I don't always hit the mark completely, but a lot of times I get really close to the target, and the amount of shills and people who show up to try to discredit me, and the amount of hit piece videos that people make about me prove that I am indeed one of the last remaining truthers in the world. One of the last real remaining truthers who actually has a talent to deliver the info in a comedic way. I'm basically the last of a dying breed. So as everything in the world gets ruined, I'm basically your last voice of hope. I'm an improved version of George Carlin. And the fact that I can make you laugh, but I'm also going to deliver you the truth in a way that he never did. Because at the end of the day, George Carlin was still an establishment comedian, whereas I am not part of the establishment. I am anti establishment, I am anti Hollywood, and I stand by my own morals and values and my own talents. And I will forever stand by my own values and morals and talents until I die. Yeah, Mass One, why are you still making like a situation of yourself? Your heart's broken. Oh, your heart's broken. What? You brought the person to my channel who went around and cussed out every one of my, damn near every one of my subs. So you brought a crazy person to my channel who vouched for a mainstream media mass bang, bang, bang event that was full of actors, provable crisis actors, and you're here making a spectacle of yourself. All you had to do was not bring that friend over to my channel. All you had to do was look at what happened, use your logic, look at what the video I put up showed. And if you guys are forgetting and not sure what I'm talking about, like 2 videos ago, I put up a video called Actor Based Reality, All the World's a Stage. And it outlined this event in Denver, a mass bang, bang, bang event, where all the people you would think should be sad and heartbroken, they were all smiling, like crisis actors like to do. The way croissant actors like to do. They like to smile with duper's delight. Oh, yeah, I watched her get shot. It was terrible. He came over here and shot some people. I watched my friend get shooted. And so Mass One thought it was cool to bring over a lady who said, this event is real. Jake the asshole, you're a piece of shit. And then she went to every single one of my comments, damn near like 100 comments, and called every one of you guys who agreed with me a piece of shit. A lousy, no good piece of shit. Because she knew the people who got popped. She was one of those people who just so happened to know the ones who got pow. You know how many times this has happened to me? A lot. Whenever I break down a mass pow event, there's one person on Facebook or in my YouTube comments, somebody who will eventually claim they were there, they know someone who was there, this event is legit. Happened with Las Vegas. Happened with Las Vegas. There had to be at least somebody on my Facebook friends list who's like, Jake, I've been following you for years, but the Las Vegas thing was real. I was there. Really? And you just so happen to be on my friends list. Wow. Oh, Faith is sending me something about a Rittenhouse being the Sandy kid. I've heard that. See, stuff like this, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can pass that as is for sure truth. But I do believe that they reuse people in multiple roles, and I do believe celebrities play dual roles, multiple roles. I definitely believe that. However, you have to be careful of this information because they can also use two different pictures of people or make up a story that isn't quite true and then discredit truthers. So you really have to be careful with stuff like this because, like, you could say that these two individuals look similar, but can you 100% prove that they are the same person? For instance, there's a Croesus actor named David. His name is David, and he also looks like he could be the same shooter from another event. And so I think that they've even reused some of these same Croesus actors multiple times, and they've even reused some of the same bad guys in multiple different situations. The problem is proving it beyond a shadow of a doubt becomes impossible. You can even do face over face overlays, but still, your average sheeple isn't going to buy any of that. Your average sheeple will reject any sort of notion that someone is playing a double role. So, for instance, you don't see shills who pretend to be truthers bringing up double roles very often. So, for instance, let's say the flat Earth shills, Jaren, deep inside the rabbit's anus hole, Bob from Globebusters, Eric Dubé. You never hear these guys say, "Oh, Justin Bieber is probably also playing the role of the Weekend." Oh, this guy is also playing the role of that guy. Oh, it looks like Dave Chappelle's been replaced by an imposter. You don't ever hear those guys ever say that because they're not allowed to. Let me restate that. If you think Eric Dubé is a truther, ask yourself why he never brings up actors playing dual roles. He never even suggests the possibility. Now, here's a even more damning example. A shill like Jaren will say, no, Dave Chappelle has definitely not been replaced. Jake's crazy and thinks Dave Chappelle's a clone. Oh, no, no, no. I don't think Dave Chappelle's a clone. I never said that. I said I think he's been replaced by an imposter actor. So a guy like Jaren, who's 100% the shill, it's in his contract, basically, that he's not allowed to say that celebrities have been replaced or that celebrities play dual roles. And it's not in Eric Dubé's contract. It's not in David Weiss's contract or Bob Nodell's contract. They can't talk about celebrities possibly playing more than one role. In fact, they have to say the opposite, that that's crazy, that that's there to discredit the truth. So Jaron has told his audience, I'm a psychopath and I'm crazy because I think Dave Chappelle's a clone. That's not the truth. I think Dave Chappelle has been replaced by an actor who's maybe even wearing Dave Chappelle's old face, or at the very least, has had reconstructive surgery to look like the old Dave Chappelle. But the essence and the aura of the old Dave is gone. The comedic genius and the talent of the old Dave is gone. And it appears to me to be an imposter deceiving the world. That is my honest opinion. If you stuck a gun to my head and say, Jake, do you really think an imposter is pretending to be Dave Chappelle? I'm going to say yes. That's what I think. And there are truthers out there who will dismiss that notion immediately and who will say, no, that's not possible for anyone to play the role of anyone else. And these are the same men who make hit pieces about me, talk shit about me. Funny how that works. The most popular video I ever made that got the most views, the most comments, the most interaction was when I said, I don't know if Dave Chappelle's the same dude anymore. I basically showed old clips of the original Dave Chappelle and then new clips of what I think is the imposter, and basically showed you a side-by-side comparison. That video has got 400,000 views. It's the most viewed video I ever did. So because I had the thought that this guy isn't the same fella anymore, and I did a side-by-side comparison, there was enough people out there who had the same opinion as me, who felt the same way as me, that they didn't even need my convincing. It wasn't that they needed me to convince them. They already felt the same way. Or they felt something was wrong, and then seeing my side-by-side comparison was the aha moment where they're like, holy shit, that makes sense. No wonder Dave Chappelle is not funny anymore. No wonder his jokes seem like they're written by a bunch of loser hack comedians now. It's because they are. Dave Chappelle is a actor who is now reading the script from a bunch of hack comedians. So you have a imposter Dave Chappelle who reads hack jokes, mainstream media hack jokes that are written on his behalf. That's what's going on, in my opinion. And so when I see imposter Dave delivering his hack jokes, they feel as if he's reading them and that they aren't his material. I can feel when a comedian is reading a script and not delivering their own comedy. You know how I know that and how I feel that? It's because when I would watch late night comedians, I would not think that what they were saying was funny because it was other men's material coming out of their mouth and they were just reading a teleprompter. So for instance, Johnny Carson and Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien and all these late night guys, even today, the current terrible late night guys, they're reading a teleprompter with jokes that other writers wrote for them. So basically, Jay Leno didn't sit around before each Tonight Show and come up with his own fucking jokes. No, he had like 10, 20 dudes all sitting around writing hack mainstream media material, hack jokes. Oh, you see this? You see this? Michael Jackson's in the news. Michael Jackson, blah, 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 blah. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, you see this? Bill Cosby's in the news. blah, 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 blah. Oh, you see this? Caitlyn Jenner's in the news, blah, blah, blah. Mainstream media hack shit written for them. And so I don't have a team of writers. I never will. No one's ever written shit for me. No one's going to write shit for me. I'm not going to deliver anyone else's hack jokes on stage. I'm not going to read a teleprompter. I don't read a teleprompter. I don't read a script. You know why? Because I'm legit. I'm the real, genuine article. A man with his own real opinions and thoughts, and his own comedic talents, and his own way of delivering it. I'm my own comedic talent, and I own my own comedic talents. I haven't signed over my soul to any Hollywood elites or anybody above me who can tell me what I can or can't say. Understand that? So because I'm my own talent and I own my own talent, I get to decide what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do at all times. So regardless of what anyone might think, oh no, Jake's a shill too. He's like one of them. Oh, really, fool? Prove it. I've proven that I'm absolutely 100% not a fake actor shill. And I've 100% proven there are fake actor shills. And I've made them lose a lot of money and a lot of their time and a lot of their efforts. And I've had these men come out and admit to you, Jake the asshole kicked my ass and bent me over so badly, I'm gonna back off and take the month off. Do you guys realize Globebusters is no longer running their live show right now because I bent over their hosts in front of the world and proved that they're shady, shilly, no good scumbags. And I'm not finished. I'm not finished. There's still more scumbaggery for me to expose. And I've told these men that I might just back off and focus on positive things like music and stuff. But at any point, I can always just revert back to being Jake the Shillbuster asshole. Just because I feel like it, because it makes me feel good to expose the truth. So, for instance, I took a week where I just posted nothing but mostly music for you guys. But then I felt the need to expose and bust ODD because a lot of you guys still to this day will ask, what do you think about ODD? Oh, I think he's a shill, a 100% shill. Oh, why do I think that? He just sat next to David Weiss and shilled the flat earth tracking app Friend Finder with David Weiss. So for those of you who haven't been keeping up, ODD basically came out of retirement. His channel was sitting dormant. He wasn't doing jack shit with his channel of over 300,000 subs. And he comes back to talk about what? Hey, y'all, this is ODD, Triple Truth, Oddcast. And I'm here with Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, David Weiss in Hibbler Productions. So ODD comes back to sit next to the guy from Baby Truther Show who likes to watch women get beaten and who loves and supports sex offenders. Oh, of course he sits next to that guy. And what do they shill? The Flat Earth Friend Finder. Get the Flat Earth Friend Finder. Download the app. Get the app. Get the app. Get the app. The world is flat. Get the app. Get the app. Everybody knows that the world is flat, so you should get the app so I can open up the camera and look at your pee-pee. Of course. Of course, ODD comes back to sit next to David Weiss and shill the app. And I point this out, and there's still people who are like, why does that make him a shill? I don't get it, Jake. What are you saying? Why does that make him a shill? Oh, man. A dude with 300,000 subs could be making 5 to 10 grand a month. Easily. All you got to do, if you have 300,000 subs, is just put out meaningful content and you're going to kill it. All you have to do is run a stream where you're not a scumbag and you're going to kill it. But what does he do? Comes back and runs a scumbag stream with David Weiss. How can any of you guys follow that dude? I'll bet you right now there's somebody here in the chat who loves ODD and is like, yeah, but he's a good rapper and I like him anyway. Like there's people I'm sure here in the chat right now who love his backwards hat, Fred Durst lookalike bullshit, and they're gonna tell me that since he's a good rapper, that they don't mind if he sits next to David Weiss. They don't mind if he shills the Flat Earth Friend Finder. So there are some fanboys, literal fanboys, who like they act like 12-year-old girls at an Elvis concert, like, ODD! Oh, he wears his backwards hat and he raps. Oh, he's so wonderful. What about the fact he's sitting next to David Weiss shilling the Flat Earth Friend Finder shill app? Jake, I'm going to give him a pass on that because he raps. And here's the thing. There are people that give him a pass because he has well-edited videos. Skeptic 936 says, for the record, ODD cannot rap. Oh, I agree. I think he sucks at rapping. I think he delivers his lines like a man reading a script. And Paul Holoquat with a donation says, keep it up. Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. And so, yeah, Skeptic 936 says, for the record, ODD cannot rap. I agree. I've told people that. But here's the thing, music is interpreted in different ways. So it's hard for me to tell someone, oh, that musician sucks. It sucks at rapping and has no talent, because people interpret musical talent in different ways, and people like mainstream crap. Most people are sheeple and stupid, and they like mainstream crap. That's why today you have people who can't sing who just use auto-tune, and you have rappers who can't rap who literally rap nigga with nigga. I've heard today's rappers who sound like this. Yo, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my what? When talking about nigga with the nigga in a what? And a nigga in a nigga and a nigga and a nigga. And that's why I say nigga with nigga and nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga with the nigga and a nigga and a nigga. Now people are going to say, Jake, you're racist because you just said nigga a bunch of times. No, I'm fucking telling you that that is how some of today's rappers actually rap. I'm a white man who used to love rap. I used to love watching black people rap, but now I no longer do because it sucks. And because guys like ODD, white guys, who also suck at rapping, it's like if I point it out, people want to just think, oh, no, you're a hater. No, I'm a more talented musician. I can actually rap better than these men because I grew up listening to Tupac and I grew up listening to West Coast gangster rappers who actually had some style and some flow. Now, are they part of the same NWO agenda? Yes, but they at least had some flow in their raps. If you go back and listen to an old Tupac album, was he part of the NWO New World Order agenda? Yes, but he at least had talent and could deliver his rhymes in a way that made a white fella like me want to shake my groove thing. If you go back and listen to an old Tupac album, the words flow and And there's tunes that'll actually make you want to get up out of your seat and dance. And then there's tunes that actually make you get riled up and want to go fight in a rival gang. What I'm saying is the music, whether it was evil or not, it still had passion, and there were talented people who were delivering it. Whereas today, you have an evil message being delivered by talentless hacks. Skeptic936 says there is a difference between forcing rhymes and rapping. Yes. And so, like, for instance, if I listen to an ODD song, here's what it sounds like. It sounds like, we do not live on a flying ball, and NASA is lying to you all. So it's like, I don't want to listen to somebody deliver a rhyme like, we do not live on a flying, spinning ball, and that is why NASA is lying to you all. And if you don't know that, I wear a backwards hat. I don't want to listen to somebody drop rhymes like that. And so, and then I'm also a musician. I play bass. I've rocked out in actual rock and roll bands and physically made awesome psychedelic music with my fingers and with other men. I've fronted rock and roll bands. Like, I have fronted full rock and roll bands. And so I know which musical art is harder to create. Here's the deal. Creating rock and roll is 100 times harder than creating a rap song. Creating rap is the easiest because all you need to do is have a beat and then start rhyming. You can go steal someone else's beat and then start rhyming. You're a rapper. Congratulations. Now, to try and actually start a band, you actually have to get with other men who are actually talented enough to play, and then you actually have to practice the songs and then play the songs together in time, and then you actually have to get people who to like it and then want to go to your shows and watch you and then buy your albums and listen. That's 100 times harder. You know why I know that? Because I have fucking done that. I have made rap songs and I have made rock and roll songs. And rock and roll songs are 100 times harder, especially if you're going to play that music live. And so I have seen ODD perform live, and then I also have performed live. So you can watch ODD perform live where the music just comes out of the speaker. Like, the music just like comes out of the speaker over there. Like, see these speakers right there? If music just comes out and all you got to do is rap, there's not a whole lot to it. There's not a to that. It only takes a certain level of talent. Now, to actually get guys together, like a drummer who's going to hit drums in time, that right there is hard enough. Just finding a dude who can hit the drums, who owns the drums, can hit the drums, and already is not in some other band and is a free agent who wants to play in your band. Just finding a fucking drummer. Oh, hard. Find one. Now, if you can find a drummer and then find 2-3 other dudes to play their parts, like guitar, bass, and a singer, harder to get everyone all together, show up on time, and practice in 2022. It's harder now than ever. Harder now than it ever was. And it's mostly because the musicians themselves today don't care. And so you have musical styles that are much easier, like rap, where you can have one dude by himself with his computer just take a beat, lay down some rhymes, and call that a rap track. Back in the day, in the 60s, 70s, if you wanted to start a rock and roll band, you had to get the dudes together. You had to practice the songs. You had to like find a musical style that worked with you, with each and every one, and you had to get along with these guys in band so that when you played music, it was fun and worth your time and effort. And this is something that is disappearing from our world quite rapidly. There's going to be a time when bands don't even exist. Your bands basically being phased out and untalented hacks like ODD being shoved down your throat. People like myself, we're getting phased out, not because we don't have the talent. It's because people today don't want to get together and create a badass rock band. If I watch an old rock band, it almost makes me cry because I see something that men don't do anymore. Men don't get together in a garage and create music with their hands the same way they used to. And if they do, there's a lot less people doing it than how many used to do it. So there used to be this group of musicians, teenagers, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, all the way up to there was lots of musicians who would get together and create bands. And so you had young guys in their teens and 20s who had serious talent, and they would try and find other who were motivated, and they could get together and create certain sounds and art that was amazing. So you're seeing now the decline of music to the point where old bands, like let's say a band like Pantera, for instance, metal bands today, there's no chance of kids is going to come together and create a metal band like that anymore. There is no group of teenagers who can come together and be that talented and that awesome anymore. Are there teenagers who are going to come together and create noise that they think is cool? Sure. But there's no group of teenagers that are at the level that they used to who care enough to want to come to and create this machine of a band and actually go out on tour and play night after night after night. Um, it's a dying breed, and that's just one little facet of the world. That's just one thing that's been ruined. Music is just one little thing. This has also been paralleled in movies and comedy, art, so across the board. So I don't want to make this seem just a music thing, that only music has been ruined. No, comedy, what it is to be funny, has been ruined. Movies, I can't even go watch a movie anymore because I'm always looking at what NWO evil agenda they're going to try to shove down my throat. What about you guys? Can you go watch a movie anymore? I can't watch a movie anymore because most of today's movies, A, suck, but B, there's a level of programming that I cannot sit through. I don't want to sit through a level of programming for New World Order agenda that I'm firmly against. I'm firmly against the New World Order agenda, and I can see through the New World Order agenda. So therefore, I'm cursed when I go watch a movie now because all I see is like a mild form of MK Ultra programming. It's like all they're doing is hypnotize the audience. And since I'm too smart to be hypnotized, I end up sitting there going, shit, this is evil. This is satanic. I watch this. I can't be entertained by this anymore. Do you guys have this problem? Can you just like smoke a bowl and then watch a movie and just treat it as entertainment? I used to be able to get stoned, watch a movie, and treat it as purely entertainment. I can't do that anymore. In the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, they're trying to push alien agenda. Oh, they're trying to push the Jew agenda, or they're always trying to push something, some evil shit. Oh, they're trying to normalize abusing children. Oh, they're trying to normalize killing zombies. And so I always see the New World agenda with whatever I'm seeing on television, if at any time I even watch television. And holy shit, I don't know if you guys have seen any mainstream television lately, but it is wickedly bad. Wickedly atrocious. Like, I don't watch mainstream media, like as far as actual cable television and mainstream news. I don't catch it very often. But if I'm over at a family member's house, or let's say I'm out and about, maybe at a casino and they have sports on, and then you see some of the mainstream commercials and the mainstream news clips while some sports are on. Every once in a while, I catch just the absolute atrociousness of what they're showing people on television. And if I'm only seeing the television for these brief intervals, just seconds, I'm only seeing seconds, just a few minutes, and I'm like, I'm uh, violently turned off by what I see. Imagine somebody who sits there and that all day long. And it wasn't long ago where I used to be able to sit on a couch and watch a movie. It wasn't long ago I used to be able to sit and watch television and enjoy it. So there was a time where I actually could sit and would sit and waste my day away watching professional football and professional wrestling and movies and reality TV. There was a time I wasted my days away watching crap. So I'm glad I don't waste my days away watching that crap. But at the same time, I look at how bad it all is from top to bottom. And it's for now, I can't even enjoy anything. Even here on YouTube, I don't know what to watch anymore. So I have this problem now on YouTube because I realize I'm like one of the only real dudes left who actually speaks real truth. I don't really know many other channels like myself. There's a few channels out there I like to watch, but I have trouble now just finding something entertaining to just sit back and get stoned and entertain myself. So I'm to the point now, I don't even know how to entertain myself with media anymore. And I find myself getting turned off and pissed off just trying to entertain myself. Do you guys realize I actually got really angry at a mainstream media comedian that I used to enjoy? Do you guys remember when Louis C.K., it wasn't long ago, 8-10 years ago, Louis C.K. was the top comedian in comedy. He was a comedian's comedian, a stand-up. There was a time where I paid money to go see Louis C.K. live, and he put on a good show, and I enjoyed myself. So there was a time when I paid money to see Louis C.K. perform live comedy, and he delivered the goods, and I left the show happy. And so I could remember going to see a mainstream comedian, and it wasn't that long ago. I want to say this was like 8 or 9 years ago. I went and saw Louis C.K. It was before I became Jake the Asshole. Not long before, maybe a year or so before I became Jake the Asshole. So I want to say 2014, maybe early 2015. I saw Louis C.K. perform, and he sold the show out to where he did the same show twice that night. So he did a 7 o'clock show, and then he did a 10 o'clock show. So he sold out the 7 o'clock show, and then he did a 10 o'clock show, just repeated the same comedy performance. And so I went to the late show, the 10 o'clock show, and I remember laughing my ass off So excited to see him, and then him being funny, and me actually leaving like, yeah, that was good. That was worth my time. Now, fast forward to 2022, like 3 nights ago. 3 nights ago, I decided to pay $10 to watch Louis C.K.'s new stand up special called Sorry. So, Louis C.K. released this new stand up special called Sorry, and it's only on his website. I'm sure you can find it out there. People I'm sure have stolen it, but I wanted to be a supporter of comedy, and so I paid $10 through Louis C.K.'s website to watch his new stand-up special. I knew, I knew there was going to be some material that's mainstream that I'm not going to like. But I figured out of at least an hour of stand up, he's going to have some material that I'm going to like. And I was desperate to watch a comedian who I used to like and get somebody to make me laugh, because I'm finding it harder and harder to laugh at anything because I don't really find anybody that funny anymore. It's like I'm the funniest person in the world. And now my nightmare is that nobody else is that funny. And so I was hoping that Louis C.K., a comedian of many, many, many years, tens of thousands of shows under his belt, I was hoping that he could deliver at least a little bit of some comedy to get me to laugh. You guys, I did not make it through the comedy special. I shut off the comedy special. It was that bad. He starts his comedy special by basically giving one of these. He's like, all right, here we go. You guys ready? All right, let's start talking about pedos. And then he just does this long, uncomfortable 10, 15 opening minutes of pedo stuff. Right after he did this, he's like, are you guys? Here we go. And then he jumps into the pedo stuff. So he does 10, 15 minutes of bad, uncomfortable pedo stuff, which of course is part of the New World agenda, right? It's part of the New World agenda to normalize the pedo stuff, to make pedo stuff sound like it's A-OK and fun. So the first thing Louis does is a good 15 minutes of pedo material, and it's bad. And I'm hoping, okay, can he please at least do some like stand-up metal? Please do something funny. Got a donation from Angelo Zapp. Hey, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. You basically just got my money back and then some for that terrible Louis for that terrible Louis special. Your $20 donation, or what is that? It has an A in front of it. What kind of money is that you donated? Anyway, so thank you for your donation. That definitely helps take away the pain for me paying for Louis C.K.'s absolutely terrible um, comedy special. So he calls the comedy special Sorry, and that's exactly what it is. And he's basically apologizing for how terrible his comedy special is. Do not, under any circumstances, watch that comedy special. If you like Louis or you used to like Louis, don't watch the new special. It's that bad. So he starts with a good 15 minutes of terrible pedo material, and then he transitions into the C word material. I don't want to talk about the C word or mention the C word because YouTube doesn't like that. So we say C word. You know, the spiky ball C word. He transitions into that, and of course he takes the narrative that it's real and basically runs with that. And he goes on, likes people wearing masks. He likes people being muzzled. He thinks people's mouths are gross. So here's Louis's talent that he's using to push muzzles. So he uses his comedic talent, and here's basically the joke he makes. I actually think it's nice when people wear a mask because people's eyes look nice and people's mouths are gross. I think mouths are gross. Because you can like see inside someone's head. You can like see inside someone's face. It's gross. So he basically says seeing inside someone's mouth is gross. And that he likes the fact that now he can only see people's eyes because inside people's mouth is so gross. So he basically tries to use his comedic talent to turn that into a joke when it's not a joke. That's not a joke. That is him helping to push a very evil agenda. So he's like, I think it's gross to see inside someone's gross mouth. You see the evilness here. And so this stand-up special was an absolute a joke. And it's called Sorry because that's what it is. It's sorry, and even he is apologizing for anyone who dares watch that horse shit. So I made it about 20 minutes. And then I said, I can't. This is physically hurting my soul to watch this. It literally was hurting my soul, so I shut it off. And then I just sat there for 2-3 minutes like, I like him. Louis C.K. was literally a comics comic, a true stand-up in every sense of the word. And the minute he went Hollywood, he totally became such an evil sleazebag that now his comedy special is reduced to terrible pedo jokes, terrible C-word material, and pro-muzzle material. Your soul is very real. Your soul, this thing inside you, is very real. And when you see somebody who used to have a soul and then they go to Hollywood or they become super famous, and then you see the soul gets extracted from their body. I don't know about you, but I can see an empty of a human being. For instance, I just showed you guys a video of Will Smith and his son Jaden. Jaden Smith is an empty shell of a human being. There is no soul inside of Jaden Smith. You can see a soul back when he was a child and his dad was basically groping and molesting him on television, for lack of a better word. Yeah, when Will Smith was kissing and groping his child on television, you could actually still see an uncomfortable soul inside the child's body. But now, when you look at a person like Jaden Smith, the grown-up result of having your soul extinguished from your body, it looks like a soulless shell of a human being. So when I see the end result of some of these former Hollywood stars who've fallen down the ladder, one thing they all have in common, their soul just seems to be extinguished. That thing that they once had when they were younger is no longer there. And so I take great pride in the fact that my soul is intact. It is indeed mine. It is indeed not for sale. This soul, this talent, not for sale. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to perform a show. If I'm going to go perform a show, a singing show, for instance, yeah, I'm going to charge, of course. That's different. That's business. Selling one's soul to the Hollywood elites, that is this entirely different animal all of itself. So there are people out there who are talented, who, let's say, sell tickets to put on a show, a rock and roll show, or a comedy, magic show, what have you. That's a talented person who is putting on a show and giving a positive service to the world. I have absolutely no problem with that. What I have a problem with is when NWO agendas are being pushed and these talents are being used to further push evil NWO agendas. So when a person, let's say, signs over their soul and is like, oh, I think you should drink Coca Cola because Coca Cola is wonderful. And I just love drinking Coca Cola so much. And if you love me, then you should drink Coca Cola too. If a person takes that step to where they're obviously selling out on behalf of a corporation, a product, or they're selling their soul to further push some sort of evil agenda, that's where I draw the line. That's where I personally draw the line and say, I won't do that. I won't do that. Will I sell one of my ideas on a T-shirt? Yeah. Will I sell my show to you? If I wanted to do, let's say, a secret comedy show, and my secret comedy show is $5. Well, yeah, I'm trying to put on a show, and I'm going to need to recoup my time and energy that it took to create this show. And so, yeah, if I'm going to recoup my time and energy to create a show, that is business. And so I don't have a problem with a showman or anybody who has a talent using their talents to make money. So if somebody's awesome at playing guitar and they find a venue that's willing to pay them, or they charge tickets upon entry at a door fee to get in to watch the music, these people have to be compensated for their talents. And so I have absolutely no problem with talented people who work hard being compensated for their time. What I have a problem with is these talented people selling their soul to promote and push evil agendas. And so there's have wonderful talents, positive, uplifting, and when they sell their soul to evil corporations, um, they can take those positive talents and use those talents for evil purposes. So you can take somebody who's really good at acting and have them play the parts um, of, let's say, evil roles and have them portray evil characters which push an evil agenda. So you can take a talented group of actors and then push the fake space agenda, the alien invasion agenda, and make it seem like it's all harmless fun, talented actors. However, these talented actors who have sold their soul, they're doing something evil with their talents and causing harm and deceit upon the world. And so I personally am not going to ever allow anyone to come in and control my talents or control me and what I do with talents. And so one of the main reasons I have a hard time entertaining myself is A, I'm a professional entertainer who's extremely talented, and B, I don't see that much entertainment anymore. Most things I see are not what I consider entertaining, and most people nowadays are no longer talented, and the people who are talented are using their talents for evil purposes. So it's very hard for me to enjoy anything. And again, I'm going to repeat the title. That's what makes me feel as if everything has been ruined. All right. So we got American Summer US with a $5 donation. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Wow, we got 287 people watching. 190 people have hit the thumbs up. Let's go ahead and make that an even 200. Smash those thumbs up if you have not already, and we'll go ahead and continue. I got a few more subjects. We can talk about Bob Saget a little bit. Of course, he just died, so we can talk about that. Also, what else do I want to talk about? We can get into how things used to be so much better than they are now. And so I used to think that maybe I'm just getting older. And so maybe I just think because since I'm getting older, that stuff from the 90s is better when maybe it really isn't. Oh, no, it is. Stuff from the 90s, for instance, and the 80s and the 70s, stuff from back then just really was better. It really was. So if you go back and look at bands from the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s were good. Bands nowadays aren't good. And bands I want to go see are old bands. There's not even a new band who I even want to see. In fact, my favorite band has been around for over 50 years. My favorite band is Blue Oyster Cult, and they've been around for over 50. And the reason they're my favorite is because they're an old classic rock band that plays old classic rock psychedelic music. And they're a players band that still relies on playing their music as good as they can. And they're still really awesome. And that's the reason they're my favorite, is because they stick to tradition and they play a traditional rock and roll still in 2022 uh, in such an awesome way that I will plop down my money time and time again. And so when you look at something like bands, it's dying. It's a dying art form. There's less and less men wanting to get together and create sounds and create music. Less and less men are getting together in garages and being like, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3, let's rock. Less and less rock bands. So rock music, when done by talented people, is amazing. But it's a dying art form because today's youth has been tricked into thinking that singing in auto tune and being some talentless hack is cooler than having a rock and roll band. So the evil New World agenda crosses over into music. They don't want you to get together with your buddies and start a cool band. They don't want you to do that. So they've made that uncool and unhip. So now you have people like, this might even be dated, but like Miley Cyrus, for instance. So instead, they'll get behind a Miley Cyrus or a Lady Gaga, and they'll tell today's youth, these are the people you want to look up to. You want to look up to Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga, Amy Winehouse. You want to be one of these weird, slutty girls on stage who does dances and lip syncs to pop music that's created for these individuals. Because we know Lady Gaga doesn't create all that music and shit around her. She has many people helping her do all that. And we know Miley Cyrus doesn't create all that music and shit around her. She has people that help her do all that. There was a time back in the 70s and 80s, dudes got together and wrote songs themselves. And then they presented those songs to record label executives and talent scouts who were trying to go out and find the next talented person. So there used to be talent scouts who would go out and scout the talent. But then they found they can take these children who are part of the secret club, who are part of the satanic New World Club. They can just children and make them fake pop stars and steal their money and control them from top to bottom, control them, their music, and their show. And then they don't have to deal with the ego of these rock stars. They don't have to deal with the demands of these rock stars. basically the New World agenda. They don't want really cool rock bands anymore. And so that's why they've cut it out of today's society. So you can still go watch old rock bands, and I suggest you do before they're all dead and gone. If you still have a chance to go watch Blue Oyster Cult play, you better go do it before they're gone and dead, because that's a real band that still plays real rock and roll tunes like back in the day. And that type of music and vibe is, is damn near dead already, which is why I plop down my money and love it so much. Is because to listen to an actual rock and roll band get together and play music traditionally, um, it's quite an awesome thing to see. And it's a talent that no longer being practiced or being sought after. So going and watching the old bands is the only thing left as far as rock and roll and heavy metal and heavy music is concerned. It's a dying style of art, and you're down to your dying days of watching it. And especially with this shit, they're basically making it damn near impossible to go out and enjoy a live show now, because you're sitting around people who are muzzled. You're having to go through protocol just to even get in and watch a live show anymore. And a donation from Miss Anthropic Free Beat says you and Kenny Homer should do a collab video. Here's the deal. I plan on in the future opening up phone lines. What I need to do is get like a burner phone, like a second phone, and then I need to get I guess it's like a little mixer that's made for taking phone calls or whatever. Uh, so what I want to do is start taking phone calls. The biggest problem I have is uh, I'm not that proficient with the technology. So you guys see me just running this basic raw live stream, and you don't see any graphics. You don't see a bunch of bullshit. That's because I don't really know how to do all that stuff, and I'm lazy when it comes to learning it. So 2022, I told myself I need to stop being lazy and I need to update the stream. I need to do something with this background, and I need to take phone calls. So one way I can open it up to you guys is if I'm taking phone calls. I can of course have different people calling in talking about different subjects, and so that's something I do plan to get going here in 2022. So stay tuned. Slowly but surely, I will upgrade. Part of the reason why I like doing things basic and raw is there's less shit to go wrong, and it gives me this old school retro nostalgia that I love. And so I feel like if I upgrade too much, if I have too much flashy shit, if I'm too 2022, then I lose in essence what makes me who I am. And I am a retro guy. I very much enjoy the past because, again, it was back before everything was ruined. You know, and like movies, for instance, I used to be able to like watch movies and enjoy it. It wasn't that long ago. I Terminator was a good movie. I used to think Terminator and Terminator 2 were awesome movies, and I was excited about seeing a Terminator 3. And then movies start tanking. You start seeing and movies that just absolutely suck ass, soured movies. So where now I'm like, a movie? No way, man. I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and watch a movie. No way, bro. It says my connection's unstable. We'll wait for a minute just in case it's buffering. It said my connection's unstable. It means I'm glitching. Glitching. So I used to be able to watch movies and enjoy them. So, for instance, like the Terminator, there was a time where I thought that was an awesome movie, and I was all stoked to watch a Terminator 3. And now, like I hate Arnold Schwarzenegger and who he is and what he stands for. And I wouldn't watch a Terminator movie if you'd have to pay me. You'd have to give me like $50 to sit and watch a Terminator movie. Literally. Because if you ask me, here's Jake, here's a free ticket to watch Terminator 5 or whatever number they're on. I'm going to be like, screw that. No way am I going to watch a terrible Terminator movie 22. And if you were like, here's $10, I'd be like, nope. And if you were like, here's $20, I'd be like, nope. You'd have to give me 50 bucks, and maybe I might sit there and watch a terrible Terminator movie. Literally, you'd have to pay $50 to watch that. Some of you guys might say, why $50? Because I can make about 50, $60 just running a live stream, shooting my mouth off. I think I've made about $50 here tonight in super chat donations, just shooting my mouth off. Why in the hell would I ever subject myself to the Terminator Part 5? I'm the Terminator, and I go back to the time to protect John in the Sarah Connor. And and that is why you need to wash your hands all the time. You need to wash your hands constantly until the skin peels off your. And then you need to go to California and you need to eat the cauliflower, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So basically, I can't even imagine watching this dude. You would have to pay me for me to even be able to rationalize watching this crap because it's not entertaining. It's revolting to me. It's the opposite of entertaining. And I would have to say, okay, give me money if you expect me to sit and watch a terrible movie from 2022. If you expect me to watch a movie from 2022, you better give me money. That's the way I look at it. Is like I can go live on my own channel and just run my mouth and make money. Why on earth would I want to watch a terrible movie and pay for it, no less? So the last time I did hand over my money to watch Louis C.K.'s comedy special, Sorry, it blew up in my face. It was a terrible idea. So the last bunch of times I paid to watch movies were terrible. In fact, the only reason I even went to theater the last few times is because of the women who wanted to go watch. So the last time a woman had to drag me to a theater because I didn't even want to go. And there was a time I remember in my childhood, in my teens, even my early 20s, where there were certain movies I was excited to go. I actually wanted to go to the theater. And that part of my life is gone. Like, there is not a movie where I'm like, I need to go watch that. That's going to be so fun to go to the theater and watch that. And nowadays, everyone's got big, huge, gigantic movie screens at their home. You got a big, huge television screen that takes up your whole wall. Well, why do you even need to go watch a movie in the theater anymore? Going to watch a movie in the theater is like as old as going to Blockbuster, right? That's something that like you can tell like your grandkids. Back in my day, we used to go to a Blockbuster video store and we used to stare at pictures of the movies. And then we'd pick up the box that the VHS cassette tape came in, and we would look at the back and decide whether or not we were going to watch the movie based on the little tiny picture and the words on the back of the VHS box. You guys remember when we used to do that? We used to walk around Blockbuster Video and stare at the back of VHS cassette boxes. And we'd be like, this one got 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. And it got 4 stars. We should watch this. It's called A Few Good Men.
That's like a thing of the past that's never coming back. You're gonna tell your grandkids about it, and they're gonna be like, "You went to a building and you walked around and looked at boxes? Okay, Grandpa. Did you ride a wagon with horse and carriage to do all that crazy shit? Okay, Grandpa, here's your medicine. We're gonna put you in a home." So life has changed dramatically in the last 10 to the point where it's like unrecognizable in a lot of ways. 10 years isn't even that long. It's really not that long, 10 years. Like when you look back, it's like life shouldn't have changed as much as it has in the last 10 years. Granted, the last two have been the biggest change because of this shit. And of course, because of this shit, right? So because shit, eh, and because of this shit, ah, life has changed over the last 2 years more so than ever. It wasn't that long ago, 10 years ago, stuff was still awesome. Like comedy was still funny. There were comedians who were still doing things that made me laugh. I remember going out and watching comedians and being pleased. I remember watching shows like Louis C.K. had a show and it was funny. And then I saw Dana Carvey came to my hometown of Modesto, and I went and paid and watched him, and he was hilarious. And so there was a time I remember being pleased with mainstream media and movies and TV shows. But now it's like those days are long gone, and it's only getting worse. And the good old days are coming back. They're gone forever, and it's like perpetually getting worse. In fact, nowadays, I see people like who got like face tattoos and who just look like oh my god, I don't even know what, like a girl boy transformer thing with a bunch of face tattoos, and it's like this is today's new famous person. Face tattoos and rainbow hair, cisgender neutral boy girl thingamajigger person. Ta-da! Oh, and they just so happen to sing and rap in auto tune. Nigga man, nigga man, nigga man, nigga. Everybody talk about nigga man, nigga, nigga man, nigga man, nigga man, nigga. You wanna be man, nigga 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 man, nigga, 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 nigga. Whoa, that's great. Let's give this guy a record contract. He's got face tattoos and rainbow colored hair. He's a girl and a boy. He raps and sings with auto tune. That right there is going to be a winner for sure. That right there is going to make every little boy want to be gay. It's going to make every little girl want to become a dyke, lesbian, femme, slut, slore. Let's push this onto every child. And the parents are like, that sounds good to me. Let's tell our children it's perfectly acceptable to listen to slore music. And so it's not just me thinking stuff was better back in the day because I'm getting old. So it's like there's this notion that if you think stuff used to be better back in the day, it's only because you're old and unhip and you don't know what's cool. Oh no. Shit back in the 90s was better. Music was better, movies were better, comedians were more funny. Um, Even something like professional wrestling. If you go back and watch old professional wrestling in the 90s and you watch guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Rob Van Dam, and then you go watch guys like now, it's not even a contest. Wrestling sucks balls now. And even all the hardcore wrestling fans will tell you that the old wrestling was better. So most of these wrestling fans will tell you, yes, old wrestling was better. And then the fans like myself who walked away and who don't watch anymore, we say the old wrestling is better. So at what point do you just have to admit and be like, it was fucking better? Stone Cold and The Rock and Rock were more entertaining, better wrestlers than any of the losers today. Nobody gives a shit about any of the wrestlers today. Nobody wants to watch Brock Lesnar's stupid ass wrestle against some no namer. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Roman Reigns. So they try and push guys nowadays and it doesn't work. Well, that's because the wrestlers back then actually had charisma. Because back then, shit was good. Music was good. Comedy was good. The movies were good. And it trickled down to everything wrestling, sports. I used to like sports. And when you watch sports, even though sports were rigged back then too, they were more believable and they were just better. And so you had athletes like Michael Jordan who were just more fun to watch. You had football players like Joe Montana and Steve Young and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irving and the Cowboys. So the athletes were more fun to watch back then. And so basically everything now sucks. And so I know that pro sports is rigged, so I can't get into watching pro sports anymore now. But even beyond that, the athletes themselves uh, are just not as fun to watch. And just as people, they're shittier. So you have a guy, like LeBron James, who's just an absolute putrid human being. I saw Michael Jordan play basketball and I saw LeBron James play basketball, and it was just more fun to watch Michael Jordan play basketball to watch LeBron James. That's not something that's my opinion. It's true. Michael Jordan was a better athlete on the court. And when you watched him back in the day play basketball, it was a genuinely more entertaining product than the horse shit they call basketball today. And so across the board, sports, music, comedy, movies, across the board, shit sucks now and was way better back then. We talked about on one of my last live streams that sketch comedy in the 90s was amazing. And that talent level in the 90s on sketch comedy shows is not even available now. You can't create a sketch comedy show now and expect it to work because the level of talent doesn't exist anymore. So when you looked at the old Saturday Night Live cast from the 90s and you had nothing but movie stars basically across the board, you had Sandler and David Spade and Chris Farley and all those dudes all coming up at the exact same time. And then over on In Living Color, had the Wayans and David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson, Jim Carrey. And then in Canada, you had the Kids in the Hall, and all those dudes were funny at the time. And then on MTV, you had The State, and they had some good comedy sketches. So for a time, you had basically several choices for sketch comedy, and they all had some great pieces that are still funny if you go back and watch. Now, if you were going to try and assemble a sketch comedy team now, where would you even gather the talent? How could you even go about assembling a crew of funny people who are going to work together and be funny? How could you even, where would you start? Where would you go looking for this new breed of talent? That's the thing is back in the day, people used to want to be showmen. They used to want to be comedians. They used to want to be actors, and they used to want to be and such. And that was something that people just wanted to do. Whereas nowadays, it's created unnaturally by the satanic Hollywood elites, basically. They want to create those people from start to finish. They don't want to go out and find talent. They want to create talent. They don't want to go out and find a person like myself and pay a person like myself what I'm due. No, they'd rather just create somebody like me and rip them off and own them. Like it. So it'll never go back to the way it was. And I know it's only going to get worse. Recently, you had comedian Bob Saget die, and he just died of apparently after getting his booster. So then you have to wonder, okay, how many of these celebrity deaths are real and how many of them are faked? Are they going to take Bob Saget and repackage him and have him playing a dual role as somebody else? Or do some of these celebrities actually die? So I'm always left wondering when a celebrity dies, A, are they really dead? B, are they going to be repurposed as another role? C, do they go to some celebrity island? Let's say there's this piece of land that exists that we're not allowed to go to. Dead Celebrity Island. Is there a place where dead celebrities go and hang out? Like, is there Dead Celebrity Island where if you were to show up, you'd be like, holy shit, here's every dead celebrity that's still here alive? Or do they just repackage all these celebrities? Or what if they repackage some of them and then they send some of them to Dead Celebrity Island? This is what I don't know and I won't ever get to know. And it bothers me. These celebrities die of weird circumstances. For instance, Bob Saget, who's kind of a questionable comedian. You could definitely he's a sellout and in the club. And so he promoted this being real, and he promoted taking the jabberoo, right? So if he promotes these things and then he mysteriously dies, and then you have to ask yourself, okay, is he really dead? And if you don't think he's dead and you think perhaps he faked his death or is being repackaged to play another part, well, who? Who's Bob Saget going to be now? Who's he going to be next? Or is there a possibility that some of these celebrities actually do die? So it's hard for me to eat my head around like where do they go and what do they do with them? Like, and you can't prove it. You can't prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. So the most popular repackaging of a celebrity is like Alex Jones was Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks turned into Alex Jones. That's like the most popular, um, most accepted repackaging of a celebrity in the conspiracy world. That's like the most accepted possibility. And there's plenty of people who don't even believe for a second that Bill Hicks is Alex Jones. But if you were going to say that one guy dies and then gets repackaged as another, that's the most popular, most accepted conspiracy theory that Alex Jones is former comedian Bill Hicks. And so you have to think of all the ones that people don't talk about and all the ones that they perhaps got away with and executed flawlessly that nobody's the wiser. Like, what if there are well known celebrities playing parts of other well known celebrities and none of us know? And if somebody was to come along and spill the beans, we would be like, what? And your head would explode. But if they're doing a good enough job playing the part of a different celebrity and there's no actual proof, then all you're left with is being skeptical. All you're left with is suggesting the possibility that this guy might be playing the role of that guy. I've heard IPS, Infinite Plane Society, Infinite Plane Radio, suggests that Justin Bieber in the role of the Weeknd, and that he does a dual role as the Weeknd and Justin Bieber. And so I can't prove that that's true. But while watching the Super Bowl halftime show a couple of years ago, it seemed to me, or maybe it was last year, it seemed to me that definitely could be true. I saw some similarities in a similarity in the aura that they put off, that indeed it could be possible that Justin Bieber is also the weekend, that could be possible. Now, can I give you 100% proof on that? No, I can't. And whenever a celebrity dies, we're always left wondering, are they really dead? Are they going to be reused as a different celebrity? Or do they go away to some dead celebrity island where they get to like hang on the beach and just sip martinis? And if there is a dead celebrity island, do all the celebrities just walk around like normal dressed people, or do they still like put on comedy shows and rock and roll shows on dead celebrity island? You know, like for instance, does Prince put on shows on dead celebrity island for other celebrities? So do people go watch Prince shows on dead celebrity island at a venue, or does Prince just like chill out and is retired and doesn't perform anymore? See, so shit like this bothers me. Has Is Prince out there playing another celebrity right now, or is he on dead celebrity island just sitting back enjoying being retired? Or does he still enjoy performing and playing music the same way I love performing and playing music? And so is he putting on private performances on Dead Celebrity Island? Like, is that out of the realm of possibility? Am I crazy for thinking that Prince might still be alive performing for other celebrities privately? Or is he now playing the part of someone else and we just don't know? See, that pisses me off. Is that a guy like Prince, for instance, who's an entertaining musician and a talented musician? He can play all sorts of different instruments, and he can sing really high and he can sing really low, and he can make funky, groovy music. So, a talented musician like Prince, for instance, is he over on Dead Celebrity Island performing Prince material for other celebrities? Or is he like retired and just sitting back chilling and just enjoying his life, no longer having to put on a show for anyone? Because I'm a showman and I enjoy performing for people. So there's a part of me that wants to put on a show for people. There's a part of me that enjoys going live and doing this for you because I'm a showman and I get enjoyment out of it. So does Prince, let's say, just this one example, does he still perform as Prince out there on some secret island, or is that dead and done for sure? And see, there's no way for me to know or prove this to myself or to anyone. And so I'm always just left wondering, because there's no way for me to prove that to any of you or even to myself. How the hell would I go about figuring that out? And so, even if I wanted to try as hard as I possibly could to figure out if Prince is still alive and if he's still performing, well, how would I go about doing that? Like, as a truther, what avenue would I go down to try and figure that out? So there can be certain subjects where you can only go so far. You can only wonder and suppose, and then you just have to go, I don't know. Huh? Ah. One conscious says celeb island in the far west and then has an emoji going, eh? Yeah, see, it's basically just like, eh? Eh? And see, I'm what I call one of the last remaining truthers. And so I give it to you straight, and I give it to you from the standpoint where I tell you I don't know. I'm honest with you, the fact that I don't know. And see, one of the things you don't see shills do is ever bring up any of that. So when I say someone's a shill in that they only talk about controlled subjects, they won't even lead you down an avenue like I just did and suppose something. They won't even suppose it for you. because they're not allowed to talk about certain subjects. They don't want you talking about repackaged and repurposed celebrities. So they don't bring it up. So there's people who think a guy like Eric Dubay, for instance, is a true because he talks about the earth being flat. But he doesn't go live and bring up any of this shit. He doesn't talk about the true status of the world. It's almost as if he's not allowed to go live on his own channel and talk to you. Almost as if he's gatekept to the point where he's only allowed to read a script once a week. And there's still plenty of you who buy it. Oh no, he's a real dude. He just doesn't like to go live. Oh no, he just always read a script. Oh no, he just thinks that the NWO death diet is good. Oh no, he just wore a dress because he was making fun of Patty Steer. Oh, he uses the defunct and debunked AE map, but he doesn't say that that's the only map that no. There's always people that make excuses. At the end of the day, there is no excuse. They're shills. They're fakers. And I know my opinion is not always popular. It makes some people uncomfortable to think that I'm one of the only ones telling the truth on YouTube at this level. Like this deep truth. At this level of truth, this deep level, I'm basically the last remaining real truther. I mean, there's other people who tell some other truths, but as far as I'm concerned, in talking about the things that I talk about at the level I talk about, I don't know anybody who does this the way I do, who brings it up the way I bring it up, who breaks it down the way I break it down. Which is why when I go looking for people to entertain me, I have a hard time trying to find anyone who can. And so I can go over to other sites, alternative sites that are uncensored, but even there, watch out what sort of information you're getting because even over there, information is gate kept and controlled. So Sage Bear brings up Owen Benjamin. Yeah, another shill controlled comedian. He's a shield controlled comedian because Alex Stein and Jaron bring him up. Shills bring him up. Owen Benjamin is not funny, and he's not a real truther. He's a shill comedian, and he basically tells controlled shill jokes. And that's why he gets pushed by the same shills who are in the Behind the Curve documentary. Flip Flat says, try the News is Fake YouTube channel. Oh yeah, News is Fake 4. He's got a cool channel, but he basically just sticks to crisis actors. So his channel basically is just nothing but posting mainstream media clips of crisis actors, which I like, but he basically just focuses on that, and so he doesn't venture into any other subjects really. And so if I want to like see the latest crisis actor video, definitely where I go. My knock on channel is that like he only does that. It seems he doesn't like. I don't know. He doesn't talk about a whole lot else. But some people like I guess they just like to choose one subject and then just stick with that. So maybe that's just just him. And I notice there's other channels that tell some truth, but it seems like they'll stick to maybe one avenue, one certain subject, and it's almost like they're afraid to branch out and talk about multiple different things. I don't know. So I feel like I'm the only truther channel that has a broad horizon, and I'll talk about damn near anything. I'm not like pigeonholed into flat Earth. I'm not pigeonholed into Mandela effect. I'm not pigeonholed into um, mainstream crap like Brian high impact flicks. So I'm the type of guy that I can talk about something that we're all facing, and I can talk about it in a way that I'm being heartfelt and real with you, and that's something that is lacking on many supposed so-called truther channels. Are they talking to you about this, and are they really talking from their heart? Are they glossing over it? All right, let me take some questions from that. Faith says Stinky Cash is a shill too. He used to be one of my best friends till I asked him about it. Yeah, Stinky Cash called me out too when I went against the AE map recently. It's an AE map for a while, but when I went against Jaren recently, Stinky Cash tried to involve himself, and I blocked him on Facebook, and then he cried and moaned about how I blocked him on Facebook, and then he went over there to Jaren's chat and joined that whole brigade of people who were bashing me and making up stories about me and basically trying to discredit me. He went over there and joined that team, and so he's a Circle AE map guy, part of that crew, and all those people flock together. Shills of a feather flock together, and it's obvious when I started pointing out that these guys are frauds and scammers. Guys like Jaren, David Weiss, uh, Bob from Globebusters, all the different shills that attach themselves to those people. It basically showed exactly where their loyalties lie. And it showed all the shills of a feather flocking together, just as I knew that they were all on the same team. They've proven time and time again that they're all on the same team over there. And so, yeah, he's definitely on team bad guy. Matt Geiger says deep inside the rabbit hole tried to tell me Ushuaia does not get 17 and a half hours of sunlight. Yeah, it's because Ushuaia destroys his flat earth app. It destroys the AE map. Ushuaia down there at the tip of South America getting 17 to 18 hours of sunlight in December in this time of year, it destroys his app because on his app he has the sun over on the other side of the world, yet it still has to somehow light up Maya. Because if you spin the sun around the perimeter of the AE map, somehow you have to light up that bottom portion there, the tip of South America, which is down next to the ice wall. So you have to light a section down next to the ice wall for 17, 18 hours. And that's not possible unless you keep the section daylight artificially on an application while the sun's over on the other side of the world. And so his own application has the sun over on the other side of the world, yet somehow it still lights up Ushuaia. And so that's a debunk of the AE map. But of course, people who use the AE map, they always have to make up any excuse they can. Oh, it's a reflection off the dome. So Bob Nodell always likes to say that it's a reflection off the dome. And so that's their favorite excuse is reflection off the dome. And then they usually will get a glass paperweight and then they'll take a little miniature flashlight and then they'll take the miniature flashlight and move it around the glass paperweight and then they'll try and tell you that that's what's going on. They'll be like, "Look, see, the sun's doing this over a glass paperweight." It's like magic for children. It's like a magic trick for children. And so they've been using that same debunked map for years, and people still buy that same debunked story. The sun's going around in a circle, and the simple sunset and sunrise angles, they don't match, and the daylight hours don't work. And then just the continents on that map are wrong. They're in the wrong locations and they're stretched out in some cases. For instance, on that map, Australia is represented as being bigger than the United States when you can actually drive across the United States and find out it is 3,000 miles, just as Google says it is. And then you can drive across Australia, it's 2,500 miles. Yet on the AE map, they have Australia represented as bigger than the United States. So even the simple flaw, like Australia being stretched out and represented as being bigger than the United States, you have to like make up a lie in your head and say, yeah, Australia is bigger, even though it's not. Like you can drive across the United States. I've driven across the United States. You can know that it's 3,000 miles and then look at what it says online. And so some people have to make up excuses in order to protect a debunked map that was rolled out to them by agents. And so I'm not going to, go out of my way to drag people into the truth. Like if there's people who want to follow Jaron and Bob Nodell at this point in 2022, if you want to follow those people or David Weiss or Eric Dubay, if in 2022 you still want to follow someone who uses a debunked AE map, that means you are stupid and you are going backwards as far as the truth is concerned. So if somebody wants to listen to David Weiss, for instance, that's not a person who I want to deal with. And that's not a person I'm even going to spend my time trying to wake up at this point. Look up those who fell for David Weiss's tracking app and his bullshit, and those who saw through the deception. They deleted it, but there are those who are diehard fans, and I'm never going to be able to get through to those people. And to people like that, I feel sorry for them. I mean, Jaronism, for instance, challenged me to a penis measuring contest. And there were some of his fans who were like, yeah, penis measuring contest. Jaron's cool. Jaron totally schooled Jake the asshole by challenging him to a penis measuring contest. Yeah, Jaron, penis measuring contest. Woo, 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 woo. Now, I can't for the life of me understand what human would want to follow Jaron after he challenged me to a penis measuring contest, an actual penis measuring contest. Like he literally wanted to measure my penis and have Thomas measure his and my penis and then say which one of us is bigger, and that he was going to give me um 3 free inches. And so if he's a 9 and I'm anything less than a 6, then that means I'm the loser and I have to leave YouTube. He even made the stipulation that $10,000 was on the line and loser leaves YouTube. So there is a human named Jaron Campanella who came up with the idea that to battle me and get me off of YouTube, he would challenge me to a literal penis measuring contest. And he thought that I was going to go along with this, I guess, and that I was going to show up with this tiny penis, and that he was going to show up with this gargantuan cock, and that he was going to like make me leave YouTube. The fact that he thought that this was going to happen in his head just shows the level of insanity. I'm not making this up. There's 100% proof he challenged me to a penis measuring contest. I don't want anyone to think that I'm making this up or going overboard or over exaggerating. 100% proof. Jaron Campanella challenged me to a penis measuring contest. Loser leaves YouTube. Now, how can anybody follow a guy who does that? And right now, there are still subscribers who watch his content and support him and comment in the comment section how much they like and enjoy him. A man who challenged me to a penis measuring contest has fans who think that's cool. And they will show up here to my channel and say, Jake, I think you've lost it. I think you're a bad guy. I think, Jake, you're a shill because you won't measure penises with Jaron. Why won't you be in a penis measuring contest with Jaron? You must be a shill, Jake. So there are people who exist in this world who are subscribed to Jaronism's channel right now, and they think it's perfectly acceptable to challenge another man to a penis contest. Loser leaves YouTube. And so it's hard for me to think these people are flat earthers. They're not sheep. They're smart enough to be able to see through the moon landing. They're smart enough to be able to see through the ball earth psyop. But they're dumb enough to fall for Jaron wanting to have a penis measuring contest? Like, seriously, what kind of world do I live in where there's an actual evil shill who can lie about and make hit pieces about me, challenge me to a penis measuring contest, and then he still has a fan base the next day, the next week? That's still totally cool. And meanwhile, I lost hundreds of subscribers for pointing this all out to you guys. I lost 500 subs just for telling you guys that they're shills, that these shills exist, and that they're doing this. For me going against the Baby Truther show and Jaron and Bob and RV Truth and that crew, for me openly battling them and going against them, I lost like 500 subs, partially due to YouTube being an absolute cuck platform. It's partially YouTube's fault, but also because some of you out there actually unsubbed because you were so angry at me for telling you about shills. So there's people angry at me who once liked me, who no longer do, because I told you that shills exist. And then I proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I proved it to the point where I shut down these shills to a certain degree. There is no Baby Truther show at the moment. There is no Flat Earth dating game show. Globebusters is no longer running. I did that. And there's people who are mad at me who say you caused division in the Earth community. I don't like you anymore for causing division, for calling out the shills. Are you the same people who watch Jaron and think it's cool to have a penis measuring contest? So the fact that there are humans who exist who follow Jaron and think it's cool to challenge other human beings to a penis measuring contest means that there are human beings who are absolutely so batshit crazy and beyond insane that nothing I do or say is going to change their mind or save them. So all I can do is just keep being me and keep delivering my message and keep putting on my own form of comedy and my own form of content. And in 2022, I'm definitely going to do it my own way, as I always have. And I'm not going to let anyone or anything influence my brand of comedy, my brand of entertainment. And so, hope you guys enjoy this little chat here. I've been on here for 2 hours. Getting a little hungry, and Rusty is begging me to go on a walk. So, I think I'll go ahead and shut this down. But glad you guys could be here with me. Thank you for um, the donations. Thank you for all the comments that I read and all the ones I did not read. There's too many to read. So if I did not read your comment, I apologize. Maybe next time.
So until next time, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for joining me and chatting with me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're sub to my backup channel called Jake Gibson. And make sure to subscribe to my BitChute channel to see uncensored content as well. This is Jake the Asshole saying be yourself and never sell your soul.
Peace.